Oh, Dan, I love your work. iCarly and Drake and Josh and Victorious and, the other ones? I don't know. Yeah, thanks, man. I worked with Nick for a really long time. What? Oh, dude, what the f*** are you talking about? Dan Schneider is a pedophile. Hey, man, you can't just come into my house and make accusations like that. It's not an accusation, dude. I'm speaking straight facts. Well, like, don't you have any proof or something? Yes, dude. Check this shit out. Dude, what the f***? Hey, what's up, guys? I'm back, and I've just been feeling really sad today, man. I've been feeling extra depressed because I just found out Dan Schneider has a foot fetish. And honestly, I just don't know how much I can take anymore, dude. Anyways, jokes aside, I would say Dan Schneider just got exposed for being creepy, but the truth is, this shit came out a long time ago. Like, years ago. I mean, I thought this was all just resurfacing until I found out it's because there's a new show called Quiet on Set. Basically, in the show, they talk about a couple of high-powered people at Nickelodeon were all friends with this one guy named Dan Schneider, and they all did some pretty creepy shit with the kids who they were employing as actors. So I guess he was on this really popular show called Head of the Class, and he also helped write it, which helped him land a job as a writer on the show All of That, which was just a bunch of comedy skits for kids. And then there was like a whole segment of the Quiet on Set show talking about this one kid that was put in a costume that he didn't like because it showed his body off in an uncomfortable way. And also because it has two giant BBCs pointing right at his face. I guess there was a couple instances of where Dan did like creepy shit working there. Dan's first main and most popular target was Amanda Bynes, who was like 13 or something when she met Dan. Dan thought she was funny and gave her the Amanda Show, and I remember watching this show as a kid and I low-key hated that shit. No offense. I just didn't find any of it funny at all, but the intro song always got stuck in my head. Anyway, so there was two ladies working as writers on the Amanda Show, and I guess Dan Schneider, my hero and the man that I look up to, starts being all mean to them and starts saying weird passive-aggressive or sexual shit to them. And I guess they were both offered to share a job splitting a salary. Now, I know the title of the video is a little misleading in the fact that I literally just said 2 seconds ago that Dan Schneider is my hero might make you actually think that I like him, but it's all jokes and I actually hate this guy and I think he's gross. However, they did kind of seem like they were trying to make this salary thing related to the fact that they were both women and Dan obviously didn't have the best attitude towards women. But how Dan explained it in his YouTube apology video that was disguised as an interview, he says that if an inexperienced writer is trying to get a job, they will sometimes be offered to share a salary with another inexperienced writer to fill in the spot of a job that would otherwise be taken by an experienced and good writer. I think that might have been maybe the one and only good point that he brought up in his apology video though. Now listen, for this next thing, I completely forgot the context, and I know it definitely seems kind of important for what I'm about to say, but really all I remember is that he asked one of the female writers to make a face like she was getting f***ed in the ass. Come on, Dan. What the actual f***? So on the Amanda Bynes show, there was a character named Penelope Taint, and somehow this shit was allowed on TV. Kids TV. I guess Dan was like, hey guys, I'm gonna create a new character named Penelope Taint, and then this year-old is gonna play her. And everyone working there was just like, okay dude, you're kinda weirding me out right now. And when he brought the idea to Nickelodeon, they were just like, are you f***ing insane? You can't name her Penelope Taint? And he was like, oh, why not? And they were like, because that's the grossest, most sexual thing you could have possibly given as a last name. And he was just like, oh nah, I mean like, it's a different kind of taint, not the gross sexual kind. What is wrong with you, man? You have such a dirty mind. How dare you think of that nasty way, Nickelodeon? You guys are sick. You guys are filthy, porn-brained pigs. Yeah, I won't let you sexualize this Amanda girl. And Nickelodeon was just like, oh, okay, shit, calm down, dude. I'm sorry. Just go ahead and name her Taint Girl, I guess. Also, while Dan was on set, apparently he would email people weird shit like, feet! And slut! And they would get in trouble if they didn't scream that word out loud? What? And then this other lady says that Dan offered her $300 to eat 2 pints of ice cream in 30 minutes. I mean, shit, man. Maybe I should go apply for a writer's job at Nickelodeon. I didn't know I could get paid for the shit that I already do. I mean, every day while I'm playing video games, I scream shit like, I love feet! Or, go pick up the diffuser, you f***ing re- And I love eating ice cream, dude. Sign me up. Okay, jokes aside though, yes guys, I know it was a bad situation and not everyone is willing to degrade themselves for money like I am. Of course they would have a problem with it, and I don't. Wait, they f***ing did it? So you guys are telling me you degraded yourselves for money and job security over half a f***ing salary? Go work at f***ing Lululemon, okay? They don't have you do that shit over there. I'm sorry to make fun of them, but dude, come on. She admits herself that the whole reason she ate the ice cream is because she was getting paid bullshit. But if that's the case, then if he's yelling at you guys being mean and harassing you and shit, f***ing quit, please! Now I feel like I have to say this just to clear things up and make sure I'm not misunderstood. I promise you guys the title of the video is a joke. I'm not defending Dan by saying these things. I'm simply making fun of Dan and these two ladies. Also, throughout the entire Quiet on Set show, they kept showing a fat guy with Dan's same haircut getting himself sat down in a chair or like sitting in a dark room to where you could just see his aura, like you could see the silhouette of Mr. Dan. Like it just keeps teasing an interview with him as if they're gonna show what he has to say or like show his apology or something. But it just never f***ing happens.
Hope you like my app.
What is your name, Amanda?
Hi, my name's Amanda Vines. I'm 9 years old.
How old are you, by the way?
I'm 10.
You're 10 years old.
I'm 12, turning 13 April 3rd. Yeah.
When I first saw this, I thought they were just showing us a compilation of Amanda Bynes lying about her age on TV multiple times. Like, how funny would that be if the whole show was just talking about how evil Dan Schneider was, and then randomly they start saying like, oh, but Amanda was no saint either. Her and Dan were working together to make a hostile work environment. When Dan was yelling at his co-workers in the writer's room, Amanda was yelling at her child co-stars. A big point in the show is when Amanda Bynes tries to get emancipated and she asks Dan for help and stuff, and he actually tries to help her out with that. But apparently Amanda has never spoken out or claimed Dan did anything to her, but like, honestly, this just makes me even more suspicious. Like, this makes me think he made her sign an NDA, basically pinky promising that she wouldn't tell anyone how he raw dogged her down when she was... Anyway, so this is Amanda Bynes now. I don't know why she looks this way or what I did. Wait, oh f***. I don't know why she looks this way, but what I do know is that a couple of people have tried to blame this on Dan Schneider. Like, I don't think that's the case, but if it were the case, it would kinda make sense, maybe just a little bit, because like, we have no idea what Dan did to her and what he said to her since he knew her since she was like 13. So I'd imagine he could have done some really traumatic shit to her that might have been a little tiny bit f***ed up and might have had a small impact on her brain. Dan also knew Drake Bell from Drake and Josh, and I guess they got pretty close, and when it came out in like 2021 or something that Drake committed child endangerment to a teen girl, he got in a lot of trouble for that. So I feel like maybe Drake got felt up by a producer or something when he was on the Amanda show, which traumatized him, and then he ended up doing the same thing later in his life. But anyways, so Dan Schneider, after the Quiet on Set show came out, made a YouTube apology video. Now look, the first time I watched this video I thought, oh yeah, totally dude, I mean, why wouldn't you? But then I thought like, why is this on Dan's YouTube channel? And why wasn't Dan on the TV show?
There who witnessed it, who also may have felt uncomfortable. So I owe them an apology as well. Yeah.
Uncomfortable? You exploited children. You CUM shot. Sorry, my like.
He did what? Okay, I know like she's referring to the many jokes across shows that Dan has written, having a bunch of jokes that make it look like someone's getting love juice shot right into their face, but the way she phrased it is so f***ing funny.
Think that some of those jokes are inappropriate for children. What do you think of that?
All these jokes that you're speaking of, that the show covered over the past 2 nights, every one of those jokes was written for a kid audience because kids thought they were funny and only funny, okay? Now we have some adult...
Okay, whoa, slow the f*** down, Dan. You know you have a foot fetish, and you have made it very public. There are a shit ton of kids shows on TV, and I think the ones that you wrote show the actors' bare feet more than every other kids show combined. I mean, the official Salmon Cat Twitter account tweeted this. Right on the bottom of your foot, and take a picture of it and send it to us with the hashtag SalmonCatSaturday. We'll retweet it until our fingers get sore. I know I can't be the only one who assumed their fingers weren't the only things that were getting sore that day. Get it, guys? It's a dick joke. I made a joke about ***ing off. Aside from that, tons and tons and tons of actual real kids replied to this with actual pictures of their feet, dude. There was an entire Victorious episode about how Trina figures out how to make her feet feel soft and pretty, and she teaches everyone else how to do it. So the whole episode, everyone's just touching each other's feet. That can't be explained by just, yeah, kids thought it was funny, so, you know, feet are funny, am I right? Dude, you tweeted this. Toes. Similar to fingers, but not nearly as good. Who agrees? You're almost outright saying that you like feet here. You have tweeted about toes and feet so many times, Dan. And what the f is this? You literally said you're gonna rub her feet.
The thought process from the series is you had the power to just write a joke, and no matter what, it's going on TV. You just had that type of power. Is that true?
The notion that I had the power to just produce whatever I wanted and have it air is completely false.
Okay.
There were many, many levels of scrutiny. Okay? We had executives.
I feel like one of the many ways you can obviously tell Dan is the one who wrote the script for this interview is this exact question.
Power to just write a joke, and no matter what, it's going on TV. You just had that type of power. Is that true?
I mean, Boogie pretty much just says, the show Quiet on Set is just acting like you got to put whatever you wanted out on TV to a child audience, but that's not true. Except in the form of a question, so that Dan can add on to it.
And caregivers and the set teacher and the families, everybody's watching it. And if anybody had said anything, hey, we don't like that, that's not appropriate, then it would have been cut out.
Now, I'm gonna push back a little bit.
Sure.
Because the series painted you in this way that you were just the guy that was doing what he wanted, and people were afraid to confront you about things. So say, just humor me, say that that was the case. What would have been the ultimate way to...
Okay, if nobody on the set, if all of the dozens and dozens of adults that were on the set, if they didn't say anything, if my bosses said, if they insisted, you got to make a change here, you got to cut that, I had to do it. I had no choice.
Got it. Now this next...
When Dan said, if anyone has a problem with the joke I wrote, all they had to do was say that. Well, the show kinda said that you created an environment where that kind of thing wasn't welcomed and where people couldn't say that. And that's exactly what Boogie brought up here. And Dan's response to that is just, oh, well, I had bosses, and if my bosses didn't like the jokes, then I would have to change it. Dude, your bosses are your friends, and obviously they're not gonna have issues with the jokes that you wrote, because they didn't make your bosses uncomfortable. It made the people who worked for you uncomfortable. Obviously you're not writing the jokes straight up mentioning sex or balls, but you would hint to it.
Totally wrong there when it comes to what you just said. That when something was wrong on set, people would go to Dan Schneider. I did go to Dan Schneider many times. And you know what he did? He bullied me. And he yelled at me in a room on Nick on Sunset with a bunch of other Nickelodeon execs around. They separated me from my mom in that room, for example. You're right. We did go to Dan, and boy, were we misled.
So if you don't know who this girl is, she played Zoe's friend on Zoe 101, which was a show that Dan Schneider made, and she disagreed with almost every single thing Dan had to say in his fake apology video.
There was also an incident where she had ran away from home, if you would. Can you talk to us a little bit just to clear the air of exactly what happened in that situation?
Yes. One night, it was very late, well after midnight, 1 or 2 in the morning, phone rang, I answered, it was Amanda. She was upset. She was in distress. She had had some conflict with her parents, I think her father, and she called me. I was immediately concerned about her safety. I called someone who I knew was fairly nearby. That person was able to go and pick her up. Then I knew she was safe. I felt better. She ended up being taken to the police.
Well, regardless of what some people may think, I think it's only positive that you are there for people when they need you. That said, let's talk about some of the things.
Bro, if they didn't make this guy say that line right there, this whole fake apology video would be 10 times more credible. How much more obvious could it be that this interviewer here is not in control of a single thing that's happened in this whole video? My opinion on this whole thing is that the Quiet on Set show was being kinda cringy and corny about when it was talking about all these victims and their experiences because of the dramatic and dark spooky editing choices and music and shit. But it also makes sense because it is a TV show and maybe not everyone is thinking about what music they're playing or what dramatic camera shots they decided to use other than me. My opinion on Dan is that he's a creep, he's a weirdo, what the hell is he doing here? He doesn't belong here. That whole fake interview apology video was bullshit, and he didn't really address anything in the show other than just saying, it's not my fault, dude, I was just immature and stuff, and I wasn't making inappropriate jokes either. He never really said anything too important in that entire 20-minute long apology video. Dan helped write some of my favorite shows growing up, and thankfully nothing in those shows ended up giving me a foot fetish.
Dan Schneider is actually a good guy. People are giving him so much hate right now, but I actually feel sorry for the guy. And also another thing I want to bring up, people say like he has a crazy foot fetish, and the Ariana Grande leaked videos, it's just weird. I don't know. What if that was just the humor back then?
Okay, either this guy's incredibly stupid or this entire video was bait for interactions. Anyways, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys don't like Dan Schneider anymore if you did before watching this video. And I'll leave links to the Zoe 101 Girls video in the description, and then also a link to the Dan Schneider apology video in the description. So go check those out if you're interested. The Dan Schneider apology video is about 20 minutes long, and the Zoe 101 Girls video is about like 45 minutes long, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that's pretty much all. Make sure you subscribe to me for more videos, and give that like button a nice slimy, sticky slap. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
Yeah.
Peace.
Got me in this party all up in a zone. Hottest bitties trying to take away my cell phone. Like come and party, I've been trying to shake you off my mind, but just can't get you off me. Keep it moving, they ain't worth it. Yeah, that's what my father taught me. But for now, I'm going through the motions of letting go. Cause my mind's telling me yes, but my heart really don't know. Your heart went dark out of nowhere, yet I still see it.